Hi all, welcome back. So in the last video, we discussed about for each row in the data table and we saw how to extract data from the Excel using this get row items. So now our next step is we have to write whatever the data we extracted. Now we have to write into this RPA challenge website. So now let's see how we can do that. Let me integrate this in this. So you can see in our previous run, the bot has come to this and clicked on this start. So now it is telling we are in the round one. So now we have to start working on this particular file. So how to do that? Let's see. Come here. So now we have to use this data. So we have to be there in this for each row. So now once we extracted the data, we have to use something called attach browser. What this attach browser will tell? Attach browser will give us the scope that we have to work on this particular thing. So suppose I will tell this attach browser, okay, and then we will start using the concept called anchor base. So what is this anchor base and why we are needing this? So you can see, as I told you, these numbers like this field name like first name, last name, phone number, email, company name are keep on changing, and it is very difficult for any bots to recognize it if it is not static. So what do anchor base activity do? Anchor based activity will first find element. Where is that? So it is basically use as it as a static content. So wherever it will find this first name, and then it will tell the bot, okay, you got the first name, now you have to write beside that first name. So this is how it works, and this is how we can overcome this problems where the field names are keep on changing. So now let's use that concept. The concept is called anchor base, and in this anchor base you can see there are two things. First is anchor, which will be the static content, and the drop action activity, which will be what you want to write. To use this thing, we have to use something called find element. What is this find element? It will basically find the element which you want. So suppose I am talking about this first name, so I would say this first name. If you want to see the selector, you can see here you are getting web control then first name. It means the bot is able to identify it. You can see, yes. Then I would press OK, and then I would say use something called type into. What this type into will do? And indicate. So where you want to type? So beside this first name. And you can see the selectors automatically take that much part only. We have to not mention anything, or we have to not use something element. We can use that concept as well, but for now it is fine. And what value we want to pass? So we want to pass that where first name, and we have to make changes here, like we have to use something called send windows messages, then empty field, then click before typing, then we have to use complete. These are the basic things. That if you click on this anchor, you can see something like this. Where is your anchor? So suppose if you say top, so you can say the field names goes on the top, but we cannot tell whether our field is our find item is on top or bottom, because these fields are keep on changing. So we will use something called auto. Similarly, we have to do for other as well. So let me copy this and let me paste this. 1 2. So I pasted it, and this time I want for which one? I want for, suppose I want for last name. So I would say last name, and then let me see the selector, and you can see the bot is able to identify this last name. Let me make these things as let me change the find element to wait for ready as complete, so that until and unless the first name will be visible, will the bot will not do anything. When the first name is visible, then only the bot will start executing. Also let me change it to indicate screen, and then let me use this last name. Similarly, what value we have to pass? We have to pass that where last name. So where last name. Any changes on these things? No, because we already did it. So these things are fine. Wait for ready selectors. You can see here selectors. This is fine. Similarly, you have to copy this and then you have to paste it. So you have to do this activity 7 to 8 times the number of columns you have. Indicate on screen. So let me do it for the role in company. And this time let's see what is the selector. You can see the selector is able to identify this role in company and then use this. Indicate on screen. Tell this. Fine. So you can see till now we have created first name, last name, and then role in company. So let me move sequentially. So let me use this company name now. Control C, Control V. So you can see I have copied a very almost everything. Let me again do that. So let me Control C this anchor and then Control V. Now I am getting this role in company. So for next column is company name. So I would say company name, and then what is that? So I would say here indicate this particular part. Also you can see I have not changed here. It is still showing last name only, but I have to make it where control space, and you can say where role in company. So where is that? Okay, role in company. Similarly here you have to write something called company name. Control space, and you can see where company name is there. Okay, so till now you completed till here. 3 more are remaining, so let's do that. Control C, Control V. Let me use this, and we have to show the address. We have to use this address here. And let me see the selectors. Yes, the bot is able to identify it. Let me see the type into address. Fine. Let me change this name, control space, and where address. Now we have to use something for email. So let me use this for email, and let me use this for same thing. And let me change this to where email. Similarly, the last one, the last column, we have to do the same thing. Let me come here and let me click on this phone number, and let me use indicate on screen and this phone number, and let me use this phone number here. So these are the basic things that we need to do while using anchor based activities. So now we already passed. The last we missed here is once we passed all the value, we have to click on this submit. So we have to use something called click activity below last one, and we have to indicate, and we have to tell this particular thing. Now submit, and let me check the selector. Yes, it is taking type equal to submit. Fine. Let me change it. So simulate click. Let me make it complete, and rest all seems fine. So now few things that we need to change, we need to make changes here are like this naming convention. We have not taken written the naming convention. So now let's start writing the naming convention, and it will be applicable for everyone. So like anchor base for what? So let me write it. anchor base for first name. Similarly, find element of what? Find element of first name. Type into where? So that it will help us during the error. If there are any errors, so we can get to know, okay, this activity it is talking about. Similarly, we have to do the same thing for everywhere. You can right click F2, then anchor base for last name. Type into last name. Similarly here anchor base for role in company, and copy paste the same thing. Similarly type into role in company. Same way, this is for anchor base for company name. Let's make this C capital. See, this is how we are working on the best practices. It might seem tedious or it might seems mundane, but these things are very important while working on the real life projects. If you will not use these things, then it will be difficult to find it. So you can see there is some extra I in front of this. Okay, we have something called address, so anchor base for address, then find element, type into then something called email, anchor base for email. Let me copy this. Similarly type into here email, and the last one is something called phone number, so anchor base for phone number, type into this phone number. So this is the basics. So again here click we have to click submit, so that we will get all these things. Apart from this, we can add a log message with the message like for each loop successful. So this is the basic steps that we need to do. So now let's see what else we can do in our next video, and there we will run it and see what was the output. So meet you in the next video. Bye bye.